Aloha, I'm Leslie Tagorda, Aquarius boss woman, brand astrologer, and designer. Not long ago, I was an unseen business owner playing small. Then, using my astrology chart, I uncovered the luminary I was meant to be. Now I help entrepreneurs like you use astrology in practical ways to crystallize your brand visibility for brilliance, impact, and reach. We are currently in a huge global pivot, and it's your time to be a leader, your time to show up for your community and contribute your magic in the world. I believe you are here to shine brightly online like the luminary you are meant to be. This is an ode to you, luminary entrepreneur. Moon and stargazers, inner truth seekers, lifelong explorers, equitable biz creators, inspired action takers, spiritual thought leaders, transformational impact healers, and freedom life makers. The time is now for you to shine. I think it's because it's Neptune in Pisces and Mercury meeting up with Neptune today as I record that I feel in this kind of like poetic mood. I feel more free about recording this podcast without a strict script, meaning like usually like you might, if you're watching on video, you might be seeing me read everything that I'm like, I need to figure out every single word before I come onto this podcast. But today I kind of want to throw things out the window because as we know, the shock and the awe of everything that's happened, we're all sheltering in place pretty much across the world now. That's all dissolved. And this is not a time for perfection. This is for us to just show up in all of our feels. And you know what? Things are going to get a little bit more intense. So if we can be with our feelings, as the cosmos says, wants to shake things up and make us feel it, the better off we're going to be. Hey everybody, I'm Leslie Tagorda, your brand astrologer and designer, and we're going to be doing things just a little bit differently on today's episode. I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly because, there's so many things to do. I want to get on with my weekend already. I've been working really, really hard this week getting my book proposal to my publisher, hopefully, fingers crossed publisher. I'm saying it as if this is my publisher, but I was part of the Diverse Wisdom Initiative as put on by Hay House Publishing, that huge publisher. And earlier this year, I was selected as one of 13 recipients of a scholarship that of diverse voices. And so our proposal is due on April 5th, and I'm recording this on April 3rd. And I just finished putting everything together. I managed to put this proposal together in just 1 month, even though I had since October, because, well, I'm a procrastinator. What can I say? I'm recording this week's episode like 2 days before it drops. Hello, procrastinator. But you know what? It's going to get done. I'm committed. So I just want to pat myself on the back and let myself celebrate. So I'm going to try to move through these things quickly. This week, unlike previous weeks, we are going to start off with the astrology because I know you've been feeling it. I know that all of these shifts this past week, we've been feeling it for a few weeks now. I mean, we've honestly been feeling it since January with that big Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And then on April 4th, coming right up, or April 5th, depending where you are on the earth, we have the exactness of Pluto and Jupiter, right? Pluto moves really slowly. It takes 240 years to go around the sun. Jupiter kind of zips by about once every 12 years. And so when Jupiter and Pluto meet, it is, Pluto represents a cleans house, basically. It's the planet of transformation. And so if you're like a traditional astrologer and you like to scare people and stuff, right, you're going to say like, oh, Pluto's destruction and tearing things down. But if you look at things from this positive angle, from a place of empowerment and light and hopefulness and optimism, Pluto is just cleaning our stuff up. We've made a muck of things as a collective, as a society around this earth, and Pluto is clearing things up now. So if you're going to be looking at what's happening with fear, and I'm not trying to, there's a lot of horrible sadness and anxiety going on right now. But if we choose to see this as an opportunity, whatever Jupiter doesn't care if it's bad or happy or mad or whatnot, Jupiter just says, haha, I'm here and I'm going to magnify it, amplify. So as Jupiter gets exact with Pluto on in Pacific time, it's going to be on April 4th, but we've already passed it by the time you're going to hear this episode. But Jupiter is going to be activating Pluto for like the next couple of weeks because Jupiter moves pretty slowly, about a half a degree a day or so. So it's going to be an orb with Pluto for a couple of weeks. So if we're looking at this at the collective and global scale, this, at least from an astrological point of view, is going to be kind of like the top of the curve in terms of intensity. And so, because we are emotional beings and us individually, we have the opportunity to do our part for the collective. If each one of us does our part, if each one of us manages our emotions and our self-care and looks out for one another, all of these little bits and pieces are going to amplify because Jupiter is going to amplify that. So I hope that even though the bulk of it has passed by the time you are hearing this, that you continue on to choose light. Shadow and light, they exist together. And I want you to really spend this time thinking about the positive and the opportunities that are here for us to start new, right? It is the great equalizer that is happening now. Saturn in Aquarius, right? So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Of course, on Tuesday, April 7th, there's going to be the full supermoon in Libra. I'm going to save that because the rest of the episode is all about that. So, that's going to be happening on Tuesday. And I'm going to give you guys some tips on what to do with that energy because this is really about burning and clearing everything that's in our way from us showing up to help the collective, right? I'll go more deeply into that as soon as we go through the rest of the astrology for the week. On April 10th or April 11th, again, depending on where you are in the country, at 12:48 a.m. on April 11th Eastern and 9:48 p.m. April 10th Pacific, Mercury finally leaves Pisces. Oh my God, Mercury has been in Pisces since February. Mercury is not, and it's really like, it's not super comfortable in Pisces. That's not its favorite place because Pisces is like imaginative and it's dreamy. And so, a lot of musicians or poets or artists have Mercury in Pisces because they intuit things through feelings and abstract versus exact data and words. So if you've been feeling kind of confused and mucked up since February, we had Mercury went into Pisces and then it went into retrograde and then now it's finally leaving Pisces and going into action-oriented Aries, I'm sure your mind is going to be running much more clearly. Right? Because Mercury is the planet that is, as my astrology teacher taught us, it is our device, right? It's like our iPhone, right? It gives us information, we program information on it. Like Mercury itself as the messenger doesn't really have a consciousness. It's just allowing us to communicate. It's allowing us to transmit what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and it allows us to process in, right? And so as this planet of communication enters divisive, decisive Aries, our thoughts are going to be a little bit more action-oriented and fiery. So, you've been waiting off on making plans and making decisions, but now it is time to make those decisions and tell others exactly your needs and requests. Do not keep people guessing on what you want and what you need. Do you want them to buy something from you? Do you have a specific offer? Make it easy for people to know exactly what you have and what you want them to do. I mean, that's like the first step of marketing anyway. But I think, some of us sometimes we're thinking that, oh, as healers or as transformational impact leaders, we don't want to sell. But that's not selling to be telling somebody what you need and what you want and what you have to offer. That's just being clear. right? So I want you all to put your words into gear and talk about your services, talk about how you can help others, and talk boldly and confidently, right? We've been talking about Aries, and Aries is all about showing up boldly and confidently. And now Mercury is in Aries, and it's time for you to use that messenger energy and get the word out there. Please harness this excitable energy for good, because as you can imagine, Mercury and Aries, if you have a little bit of a temper or a tongue, your words can easily come out a little bit wrong. All right. So on Saturday, April 11th, we're going to finally get some really loving energy. The moon is going to be opposite of Venus at the wee early mornings of Saturday, the 11th. So when you wake up, you're going to finally be feeling the love, a respite. Finally getting a little bit of an emotional break. I'll take it, even if it's just fleeting and passing, because the moon zips around. But Venus, our planet of connection, right, is just it's yearning for connection, because we can't really connect right now. We can't touch each other. We can't hug each other. We can't even be like 6 feet near our loved ones that don't live with us right now, right? And Venus has been in Gemini. Gemini is the social butterfly. It wants to connect, and it definitely wants to connect over mental stimulation, ideas, and things like that. And that's great for us right now, living we're in the environment that we're at now. So when you're, self-isolating and you're feeling the love, get on the phone, get on the video, or if you're living with anybody, give them a hug, right? Because those are the people that are closest to you. So feel the love, share the love, tell others how much you love and appreciate them. They will love it, you will love it. And you know what? I love you. Before we go on to the astrology of the full moon in Libra coming up, I wanted to let you know that my flagship program, the doors are opening next week after the full moon. Oh my gosh. So I've run a cohort of Astro Brand training and coaching. I used to call it Crystallize, but Crystallize almost feels kind of too small for everything that I've done. I love crystals, of course, and I have Saturn in the first house. So crystallize is a great word. But this new offering is more than training. It's more than like just a short time together. This is a full immersion, and I'm calling it Luminary Rising. Every time I've worked in my Astrobrand cohorts for Crystallize, the thing that I've heard from my members each and every time is that they wanted more time. They wanted more time to do the work, to make the transformation, to show up as a leader in their industry. And they wanted more time with me. So I've heard their call. They've wanted more astrology and time to integrate everything into their brand. Because you know what? Transformation most of the time doesn't happen very fast, right? So we all need time to transform, and we are always evolving. So I heard the call, and I'm turning my old crystallized astro branding program into a year-long immersion. It's more than a mastermind, it's more than a membership. It's a loving, supportive community of spiritual entrepreneurs looking how to co-create our future together. So if you are ready to contribute your wisdom to the collective, right, you have an offering that can really help others right now during this time of uncertainty, right? Maybe you're ready to be seen as the expert online. We're all moving our businesses to online, and this is going to be the new normal. Even if you have a brick and mortar, you're going to have a visible spot online, right? You know that the future of your business is going to be dependent on you getting set up to deliver online, to be seen online. Maybe you don't have a website yet, or it's not working as planned, or your message isn't there yet. This program, this immersion is going to help you get all your things together so you can be seen as the expert online, right? Or maybe you are ready and prepared and heard the call to prepare your business for the new economy because you want a leading role so that you can help others with your contribution. But in order to help others, I hear you. You got to get over your self-doubt. You got to get over your limiting beliefs in order to show up. if you guys resonated with anything that I've just said, this immersion is for you, right? But none of us can do this alone. And this is so prevalent now. We are all in this together. And in Luminary Rising, I'm going to give you community guidance and mentorship. So imagine an inclusive space where you get loving support and time to expand your brand's horizons, with reach and ease and profits. You'll get regular astrological insight on cosmic cycles and direction. I'll go deep with you guys. I'm going to let you know where Mercury is going retrograde in your chart and what you're supposed to be working on, where each of your new moon intentions are sparking in your life so you can get real insight as to the goals that you need to build right here and now, right? I'm going to help you get crystal clear on your value in the world so you can show up confidently and so you can say with boldness, this is my gift and I want you to have it. You're going to love it. I want you to lead from your heart-centered self, and I want you to transmute your self-limiting beliefs and doubts because I want you to stand out as the luminary you are meant to be, right? So kind of in this immersion, right? Like I said, goes way beyond a membership or a mastermind. I'm going to have my core trainings of Crystallize, where we align you to your authentic self to create a brand that is 100% uniquely one of a kind based on your natal chart. But again, you're going to get regular personalized astrology for your business. You're going to get all the teachings on branding to increase your reach online. You're going to get mentorship and coaching for your business in our group. Of course, new moon ceremonies, because that's my jam, and so much more, right? The waitlist is already opened, and I will be officially opening the doors after the full moon. And I'm gonna have unbelievable, like really, I'm kind of like, I'm like, do I really want to offer it like this? Yes, I do. I'm going to have unbelievable early bird rates for the people that are on my email wait list, right? So if you want to get these only waitlist bonuses and rates, please go to my site, the Savvy Luminary / rising. Let me say that again. thesavvyluminary.com / rising. Get on the wait list. Even if you're already on my list, get on the wait list there so that you can be the first to know when the doors open and take advantage of my email only, waitlist only bonuses. I'm so excited to start this program again. We'll be starting the program on May 8th with a virtual welcome circle. I think it's going to be at least a 2-hour or 3-hour event where everybody meets each other. I'm going to make it the most epic virtual circle that you've ever been to. And, we're still going to be probably in self-quarantine. So where can we go? If you believe in me and you've worked with me before and somehow, I'm going to be opening up also an affiliate program. So if you are interested in earning some extra cash and have friends and besties that, you want to share this immersion of Luminary Rising with, again, contact me on that page, thesavvyluminary.com / rising. There's a link at the very bottom to email me if you're interested in becoming a partner to help me spread the word for Luminary Rising, this full year brand immersion program. All right, so let's go through the full moon in Libra that is coming up on Tuesday. Now, it's not just a normal full moon, it is a super full moon, meaning that the moon is going to look so huge in the sky because it's going to be at this nearest point. So, of course, the moon is our closest luminary. And the moon affects our tides, the moon affects our plate tectonics, and of course the moon affects our emotional sense. So this is all building up. These moon cycles have been so in sync with the larger cosmos that I know you're going to be feeling it. So I've noticed that over the last few weeks, my schedule has been booked with Astro Brand readings, right? I've heard from so many of you wanting insight onto how to reinvent your business, right? You're looking for how to evolve your business. And I am too, right? And so thank you so much for coming to me and trusting me. And if you're looking forward to an Astro Brand reading, let me know. This is my absolute favorite thing to do, and of course, I'm going to be having them all over in the Luminary Rising. But myself, as a business astrologer, I also have an astrology mentor and teacher. So earlier this week, I'm taking an advanced business astrology class right now. I had asked my teacher about launching my flagship program because the doors were opening this month, right? I had hardly done anything to launch the program because I was so busy working on my book proposal that I was talking about. And oh my gosh, okay. So this is my question. I want to read it to you because there's a lot of things that you can get out of a question, right? So my question was, I haven't yet launched my flagship immersion program, which I intend to kick off on the 8th, April 8th. Not sure what's holding me back from pulling the trigger and going forward, besides the craziness of what's happening now and completing a book proposal due on April 5th. I don't know if I must readjust my pricing to be lower or stay as intended with extra focus on rebranding for reinventing one's business to show up in these new times. If this, do I have the knowing to guide people into these uncharted territories? Thank you. Thank you. Again, that was a question from me to my astrology mentor. And you can hear that in that question, I had so much confusion, right? Like I'm kind of frantic. I'm trying to do too many things at once, yet I'm also questioning myself. Like I literally asked the question, do I have the knowing to guide people into these uncharted territories, right? So of course, probably like you, I hate launches, right? I always get this feeling I'm not good enough. I don't have what people want. I'm not able to communicate well. My offer's not good enough. People don't like me. It's too expensive. All of those things, right? And I don't really know anybody who loves launches. If you love launches, let me know. Please, I want to know your secret sauce, right? But what it comes down to is that I'm just scared and I'm having a lack of faith in myself, right? And the question that I asked my mentor, do I have the knowing to guide people into these uncharted territories, says it all, right? And so notice the way that I frame the question, it actually gives an indication that I am ready, right? The way that we ask a question on this kind of like what level would you say that on this subconscious level, the way that you position your question gives you an indication to know whether you are ready to receive the answer. That's kind of meta, right? That's like totally Yoda. Like there is no try, there is do or do not. But but what my astrologer basically told me, she said, Leslie, she looked at my chart and I looked at my chart. Of course, I know that all the indications in my chart, I already knew that I was pointed to go. I was born to be an astrologer. Like my creative I can't say it, expressive energy is my sun in the ninth house conjunct Jupiter, right? So like Jupiter is expanding all of my creations when I'm, in this optimistic and loving state. And when I'm using astrology and technology for the greater good to help myself as well as others expand their minds and visions, I'm doing what my soul was put on earth to do, and my light shines brighter. Right. But even after all of my inner work, after all of these years and, showing up and building my platform, I still have to decide. And so my astrology teacher gave me the perfect exercise. And this is medicine, if you will, that I want to share with you because I think that this is medicine that is perfect for this full moon. Right. So what she told me, right? Because my question, again, repeating my question is, do I have the knowing to guide people into these uncharted territories? And my astrologer is like, yes, Leslie, of course, you already know that, but you have to be done. You have to be done with not knowing. You have to be done with deciding that you have this thing to offer. So what that means in a nutshell is that I've come up with a list of all of the things that I am going to be done with, and I am going to burn these things during the full moon. Right? So, you know that for full moon rituals, this is a time of celebrating, giving gratitude, and letting go. Unlike new moons where you're setting intentions and planting seeds, the full moon is where you're letting go. You're pruning off like dead leaves, they're pruning off things so that there's more energy to go to the things that are really, really important. Right? And because the Libra full moon is reflecting the light of the Aries sun, right? Libra is ruled by Venus and it's about we. And Aries sun is about me. So we're talking about the me versus the we. And we know right now there's no me in all of this, there's only we. Right? So, how do we connect to our true selves, to our higher selves, that our higher self is already connected? Right? What do we need to get rid of so that we can fully be in service, not only to ourselves, but to others? Right? So the astrology of this Libra full moon, I'll post a chart up in the show notes. So again, you can go to thesavvyluminary.com and I'll have all the show notes there. You can look at the chart. But the full moon of the sun and the moon is forming an energetic, I want to call it a friction, because like a friction, I don't want to call it a conflict or a disharmony, but it has a lot of energy. It's called a T square, basically. And so some astrologers would say that a square is a bad aspect. It can be. It has a lot of energy. It has the energy to move. It has the energy to like literally move mountains, right? And so this idea of the me and the we, the moon and the sun tugging against each other, balancing each other out, right? Balancing, the theme of Libra. And then the Pluto Jupiter conjunction, squaring it, just hitting it right in the middle as kind of like the pivot point between the seesaw of the moon and sun. It's activating it, right? So again, this is a place where we're going to have to shed a lot of light on this, because whatever Jupiter touches, it's going to expand. So Pluto is the planet of transformation. It can also be the planet of destruction. What do you want to do with that energy? I want to create and I want to build, right? Just like the Kali goddess, the Hindu goddess of Kali, they call her the destroyer, but they also call her the creator. And so if we want to put some goddess energy on Pluto, Kali is it, right? So what are you going to destroy? What are you going to, like, the word decide, it's like side is a root of like kill, right? Like suicide, decide, make a choice to do something and go with it. What are you going to kill? What do you need to get rid of in order to grow and flourish and fertilize this new part of you, right? You are enough. You got to feel it and you got to know it and trust it, right? So going back to what I'm going to be doing, for your prescription for this Libra full moon is to decide what you're done with. What's preventing you from following your path? I want you to write it down. I want you to burn it. And I want you to throw those ashes in the wind using the fire element of Aries and the air element of Libra, right? So full moon is going to be exact at 7:35 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday, 11:35 p.m. Eastern on April 7th, Tuesday. So for us on the Western Hemisphere. So decide what you're done with, write it down, burn it, and throw those ashes into the wind and be done with it, right? So for me, the things that I would like, based on the conversation that I had with my astrologer when I was questioning myself, do I have the knowing? Just by asking the question, do I have the knowing, gives you the answer. Yes, I have the knowing. I know, right? So I've decided to be done with these stories. The stories that afflict me when I'm doing something scary, like a launch, is I will never create valuable content. I will never be a big name. I don't have the knowing. Ads don't work for me. I don't know. My content will never go viral. Like, these are the stories that constantly swirl in my head, even though I've done so much work to work on those stories, right? And this is common, right? This is something common, but this is when we notice our stories and we take them out of us, then we can actually do something with those stories. They don't have so much control on us when we feel that the stories are part of us. I'm taking out those stories. I'm going to write these down and I'm going to burn it. So I'm going to give you another example before we call it a day. There's a woman, Susan, in my free Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary. And of course, you are welcome to join The Savvy Luminary. It is a safe community that's a partner with this podcast, as well as, for entrepreneurs who love astrology. I had prompted a question of the things that, what's going on for people earlier this week. And Susan left a comment and she said she's being advised to let go by her inner guidance, and yet being sucked back into corporate business model that doesn't work. That's not right. She says, I wish I had a stronger inner guidance available as support. I'm going to read that one more time, just because I want to be super clear. She said, I'm being advised to let go by my inner guidance and being sucked back into corporate business model that doesn't work. It's not right. Wish I had stronger inner guidance available as support. So I want you to analyze what her comment said, because I bet you can already hear the answer, right? She says, I wish I had stronger inner guidance available as support. But guess what? At the very beginning of her comment, she said, I'm being advised to let go by my inner guidance. So if she's already heard the call, I'm being advised to let go by my inner guidance, yet at the end, she's like, wish I had stronger inner guidance available as support. You see how there's a paradox there, right? What is happening is, because this is my take on things, right? She's dealing with anxiety and fear like many of us are, right? And this fear is taking hold, right? So the fear is forcing her to believe that she has to go back into this corporate business model that doesn't serve her. And while she says that I hear the stronger inner guidance, wish I had the stronger inner guidance, she's not actually seeing that she has already acknowledged that she has the inner guidance. So it's her emotional fear that's winning over, right? So what I would love her to do is, if I was Susan for this full moon, I would slash and burn and decide that I was done with second guessing my inner guidance in order to actually hear its call to let go. Right? Do you see how this works, right? She proclaims that she indeed did not have strong guidance, but her shadows and fears are overtaking her emotional self and preventing her from following her inner guidance that already told her, that already advised her to let go. So Susan, if you're listening to this, I want you to slash and burn and decide right now that you can hear your inner guidance and that you will heed its call, because you know what? Your inner guidance is already super strong and it wants you to let go. Well, that's all I have for today, and I hope you found this podcast available. And of course, I still need your help. This podcast is almost a little more than a month old, but it's still a fledgling podcast, and I could really use your rate and review on iTunes or Stitchers or wherever you listen to podcasts. Better yet, why don't you share an episode with one of your business besties? I want to get this information into the wider world. I know it's super helpful. Okay, so after you leave your rating and review and your episode, if you're not yet part of my free Facebook group, The Savvy Luminary, hop onto Facebook, search for The Savvy Luminary, and join us, because I offer more astrological insight there with almost daily prompts. I ask you questions. You can ask me astrology questions about your business or brand. I want to get the word out there. Of course, if you leave a question or rate and review, you might hear your rating and review on an episode. And once a month, I will choose a person who has reviewed, and I'm going to send them this Savvy Luminary goodie bag. There's lots of fun things in this cute little canvas bag that you can use as a pencil case or a makeup bag. And of course, I mentioned earlier in the episode, if you're interested in working with me in a year-long immersion to help you show up as the luminary you are meant to be, you're ready to increase your visibility and reach in your business. You're ready to be seen as the leader. Yes, you are, right? I'm talking to you. Head over to thesavvyluminary.com/rising. Get on the waiting list, because as soon as I open those doors, everybody who's on that waiting list is going to get an unbelievable bonus and early bird specials. All right, I'm doing it. You heard me say I hate launches and it freaks me out and I'm scared about it, but I'm still doing it because that's how we grow. All right, much love to you. Have a wonderful full moon, and share with me what you did for the full moon. I want to hear what you decided to slash and burn that's preventing you from showing up as the luminary you are meant to be. Take care. Bye. Mahalo for listening to this brand new podcast. If you enjoyed learning about astrology for entrepreneurs, help me spread the word by sharing this podcast with your business besties, and hop over to The Savvy Luminary for links to episode notes and our free Facebook community where you can send me questions about astrology or branding, as well as connect with other like-minded businesses.